What's happening? Of course, you know it's your boy Beehive Radio shouting, hey man, I got a friend to the show and an A-Town legend at the same time off in this thing. Nick Love, what's good with it, boss?
What's up, my guy?
Hey man, first of all, appreciate you sliding through here and kicking some flavor with a player today, man.
I appreciate you having me.
Hey, now, OneRPM, I saw you just announced that you joined that team over there, Nick. So, I mean, now they done got a vet over there.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
You see what I'm saying? Break down what's going on over there at RPM and what was it that made you go corporate again, sir?
So OneRPM is a music digital distribution company with marketing services. So we're a direct competitor of like Empire, Foundation, Create, companies like that. I got over there in April. My man Orlando McGee.
What up, Orlando?
Another Atlanta OG, music business OG.
Thanks.
Orlando reached out to me out the blue one day, man. I was minding my own business. I was actually out with a client, handling some other business, and he was like, "Hey, bro, I need you." And I'm like, "To do what?" He was like, "You want a job?" I'm like, "Not really." You know what I'm saying? Like, not really. I ain't worked for nobody in a long time.
Come on.
And he was like, "Man, nah, man, it's a marketing gig. I could really use you. We building this office up." And as he was explaining it to me, I was like, "Okay." It makes sense because I had gotten to a point in my career where I was like people start telling you that you can't get a job.
Yeah.
And it's like, hold on, like I could go.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'll compare it to like street fight. You know how you be knocking niggas out in your backyard.
Yeah. But you don't know karate.
Yeah. Somebody be like, I mean, you couldn't box though. I'm like, what you mean? You don't think I could like
come on
get in the ring and like when it's structured and do it?
Exactly. The same damn thing.
Yeah, like. All right, I got y'all. So when the opportunity presented itself, it was really just right time, bro. So I took advantage of it, and it's been off to the races since then.
Okay, what are y'all doing over there as far as digital, though, for those that don't understand? Because it's a whole new world.
Yeah, man, it's a whole new world for me, too.
Come on.
Digital distribution is, basically like making sure your music is up on the platforms, right? Okay. So Spotify, your titles, your Amazons, and whatnot. Yeah. But also get into your YouTube, get into the DSPs, it's that world. Now, the game is different. Okay. That's where the money's coming from. Your money's coming from your YouTube.
Yeah, the digital.
Your money is coming from your streaming. Yeah. It ain't, like the game I come from, I come from the fan a day platform where we go outside, we go to the club, we shake hands, kiss babies with the DJs,
that's right.
Do all of that. The game is way different now. So for me, it was learning all those different avenues of like, okay, cool. So instead of having to know the DJ at Magic City necessarily, now it's like I need to know the guy who runs Rap Caviar.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? At Spotify. I need to know who's running the hip hop playlist over at Tidal. That became I got to make a whole new set of friends.
Oh my God.
And that's what these artists need to do as well, man. So I'm the guy to kind of be the intermediary between that. You know what I'm saying? Bridging the streets to the streams.
The playlist, man, is that the new mixtape?
Absolutely.
Break that down because
Absolutely.
I mean, my boy DJ Iceberg hit me with that. He was on it years ago. He's like, B, mixtapes over with. Playlist is where it's at.
For sure.
But I still didn't quite understand it because I look at all my shit on YouTube. I listen to my shit on YouTube too.
Yeah. No, I mean, you gotta think, man, like Iceberg is perfect for it because like I said, he came up in that era. He's a DJ. He knows. I told DJs years ago, I was like, hey man, like the minute, and I learned it, like I said, maybe 2014, 15. I think it was like when Lil Uzi got popping.
Yeah.
And, at that time, I'm running Coalition DJs.
Yeah.
And I'm telling the guys, like, hey, man, the more artists that start to break that don't have to come through this club pipeline, the tougher it's going to be to maintain clients or get new clients. Because you got to get people to believe in the model. And if they say, well, I don't have to do it that way, I can do it this way, ain't no problem. You just got to put yourself in position over there too. So I started saying, hey, the same thing. These mixtapes, put them online. Create a playlist. There should be every DJ should have a playlist. Every DJ should have a playlist, man. And I mean, there's value in growing that playlist and giving it the same attention that you used to give your brand of, like everybody didn't necessarily have a Gangsta Grills or the movement that Scream had and whatnot. So it's like, okay, but you can build it. And the numbers are right there in front of somebody. So somebody can tell you, your playlist got 100 followers, 1,000 followers, 10,000 followers. The more you got, the more value you have, and the more important you are to the labels, to the artists, to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, it's absolutely the new mixtape.
You just snapped with that, and you gave these young DJs a whole new blueprint to follow in this thing.
But it ain't new, though. I think it's just everybody resistant to change. You know what I'm saying? It's not new. Like I said, I told these guys this in 2015.
Yeah.
And I think the hardest thing that the DJs have had to face is that even if they were aware of what the play was, you had to get the artists to come along too. So the problem wasn't necessarily the younger artists. The problem is the older artists, right? So if you were coming up in the era of the Jeezys, the Futures, you know what I'm saying, that vibe, you still look at the world through that lens. You know what I'm saying? You still like, yo, I got to go to the club, make it rain, do the thing. But
exactly.
I mean, how important do you think making it rain is in 2022? Like, that ain't...
Well, we've been inside for the last 2 years.
Hey, bro, and that was tough as hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. Nobody... And you saw club music really suffer during the pandemic because there was nobody in the club.
Facts.
So a lot of records didn't translate as well when you sitting in your couch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's tough.
Okay, when you went over there to OneRPM and you started getting out of that game, how did that make you feel when you started to see what the hell is going on in this new world?
Day one, I felt super I felt old for a second. Like, oh shit, like this what?
Do I need to know code in this motherfucker?
Hey, no, for real. I was like, hold on. So what you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't necessarily a culture shock because again I was aware.
Yeah.
But when you get really deep into
when you
what
about
it
to get
is,
into the real deal.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, because you know what I'm saying. We got projects came out. Like I said, over there, our roster is completely like it's one of the dopest rosters to me. And we got Yellow Wolf, we got Caskey, we got Lobby Boys, Jim Jones and Mano. We got Goody Mob, Cujo as a solo, CeeLo as a solo. We got Cuban Doll. We got Bobby Schmurder, who we just put out. We got a nice roster of Dro is over there. Like we got a nice roster of artists. And some names that you may not be familiar with, but are like incredible. My girl BB out of LA, she's a songwriter and an artist. My man Busy Crook out of Miami. We got some dope artists. But you know me, I'm like, okay, cool. When you come into Atlanta, I'm gonna move you around, introduce you to my man Beehive, take you over here, take you over there, and the company is like, whoa. We need to take them here, and they need to go talk to the lady at TikTok, and they need to be cool with the lady at Facebook, and we need to put them, you know, in these different places. And I'm like, so when we go to the club, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what time we go to when we do the mixtape release party?
Yeah.
And they like, wait. Like, Nick, okay, we like where your head is, we like your ambition, but if we gonna do those things, you gotta justify to us how that increases the streams. How does it increase YouTube views? And I was like, oh. And then when you start seeing it that way, now everything takes a whole different shape now. Because now when you like, hey, we just gonna, you know, you're not just doing stuff to do stuff.
Yeah.
And in hip hop for a long time, we've always just done stuff to do stuff. Just because that's just the way it was, right? It was like, you got to do a mixtape release party. Well, why? I mean, because you just got
a mixtape.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, gotta do it. And it's like, okay, cool. You want to do a mixtape release party? All right, cool, Nick. So how's that gonna drive the YouTube views? I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, is it gonna be popping? We just gonna throw a popping ass party?
Exactly.
And they like, well, we probably not gonna do that.
Damn.
And then you start to see like, oh, okay, cool. And then once you start to see how they think, you start to figure out, all right, cool, this is the pieces of me that I can take in. These are the new things that I'm going to adopt, and then I can kind of run off with both.
For an artist to be, because see, this is crazy in the same breath though, Nick, because with you being one of the head of the coalition, which was a major, still is a record-breaking entity in the city and in the South, and then working with Jeezy as well, having to take all of those tools and say, okay, that's analog.
Yeah.
Now I'm about to go digital with this stuff. What is it that it takes for an artist to be successful in this digital realm that it might not have took back then, man? Patience. Patience and tunnel vision. I think that the downside to having everything be so digital is that you got all these numbers in front of you. Everybody's throwing numbers at you, and so if you start focusing on the numbers, you get away from perhaps a plan that you may have had going in, right? And you know, we in a era and a time and age where people want to see instant, you know, or at least quick results. So when you get online and your picture doesn't get enough likes, or your post don't get enough views, engagement, and all your YouTube video don't do 1 million views in a day, people get discouraged, and then you start seeing people try to figure out the cheat codes. Like, well, I'm gonna just buy this, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm spending over here, spending over there, and it's like, yeah, but this is the part of the game where when you come from the quote unquote analog way,
it was patience, right?
Exactly.
We got out here in the mud and we said,
Organic.
all right, we're gonna organically grow.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the barbershops.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to the clubs. We're gonna go here, there, and everywhere and make literally make a fan a day.
Yeah.
That was
Ooh.
always the goal. Nobody wants to make a fan a day
I've been
in
there.
2022. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everybody's like, a one fan a day? Psh, I need 1,500 fans
Come
a day,
on.
and I need them ASAP. And
The fans
I think,
are compound.
And I think you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I think that served me well, being from that age of before, being in the age now, and kind of being young enough to understand the new way, old enough to fully have grasped the old way, and now I'm here. But it took Jeezy, it took Coalition DJs, it took all those years of grinding and interning, and to get here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How imperative are the YouTube views, the TikTok streams and listens, and the Instagram views and stuff like that? What does an artist really need to be focusing on? Do they have to focus on all of those damn platforms?
Yeah. It's it ain't, I think my homegirl Keisha Merritt, she used to be a DTLR, man, somebody I talk to, really regularly. She says it's not easy, but it's simple. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the game. You got a lot of things being thrown at you.
Yeah.
Like everybody says, like, oh man, why y'all artists can't blow up? Y'all got it easy. Y'all got technology. It's like, yeah, but you're also asking an artist, I need you to be good at Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and make music and come up with a dance and move around and be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, you asking a lot that you didn't ask artists from a previous generation to do. You just asked them to really make music and then go out and kind of perform. And like I said, don't get me wrong, it was grind back then, but when we kind of throw this like, oh man, all y'all got to do is make a TikTok video. It's easy. It's like, that ain't easy.
Yeah.
And you can ask any of these kids who trying to do it. It ain't easy. It's a small select few people that get that lucky break, that viral video, that viral moment that catapults them into something. And then the whack part is, it's just like how when you would make a hit back in the day, somebody say do it again. Same thing with this viral stuff. You make a viral video, now everybody like, all right, do it again. And it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was just something that happened. And that's the worst part about it for a lot of these artists is the things that go viral, they can't replicate. Cause they like, I don't know what I did. I was just messing around one day. I uploaded some stuff, and that just happened to be the one that the algorithm picked that day.
Yeah.
It was it was 2:15 in the afternoon. The sun was up. The algorithm caught, and the right person reposted it, retweeted it, and now I'm out. But it's like, I don't know what I did. So you can't ask them to do it again.
Yeah. As a label, though, how is it for you dealing with these artists that are catfishing you because they done inflated all their damn views and numbers and stuff, and you thinking that they the real deal, and then you realize they ain't really got no momentum?
Man, so the good thing about OneRPM is that, I've learned a lot of the back end data. And so I can kind of look and see like, oh, okay, all right, this is cap.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You go in and start looking at views and you're like, oh, this is from the Philippines. No, cuz not, no. You know what I'm saying? Where you find 3 million fans in the Philippines and you from,
Georgia.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You from the South Side.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying? You
man.
from College Park, but you got 3 million fans in the Philippines? I don't think so. And you know what I'm saying? Not that you don't, but
we ain't buying it, partner.
You got to show me. You know what I'm saying?
God.
You got to show me, for real, for real.
Exactly.
And so you do get a lot of that. You get some people that say, man, I got X amount of views on my video. I get this much, whatever. But like the numbers, they tell a story. You know what I'm saying? They say numbers don't lie. It's like, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You start seeing 3 million views and 5 comments. You like, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? You got some explaining to do. And it's just, it's in a lot of cases it's obvious.
Yeah.
Some people are better at hiding it than others, and I applaud them.
Yeah.
I think if you gonna lie, at least
Be good at it.
Yeah, make it an elaborate lie. You know what I'm saying? What they say about Bill Belichick, they say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Come on now.
I respect it. I respect the game. You know what I'm saying? But again, even once you get in the dough, now we gotta do it. Again, do it again. So if you walking in the door telling me that you get 3 million views organically, and you get X amount of followers, all of this and third, and I'm like, all right, bet. Well, once you get over here with us and our resources and I know how them numbers should
quadruple.
They should.
Yeah.
So what happens when we get you and then we do the thing and it's like it's coming up and you only at 100,000?
Yeah.
Hold on, what happened to the 3 million people that was rocking with you
Exactly.
on the last record? The music didn't get that much worse. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you didn't change that much, so something's up.
You just did that last month, nigga.
Yeah, man. So I mean, like it's weird, bro. But like I said, I thank God that I have the experience that I've had in this game to kind of give me some context.
So for an up and coming artist, what should they be focusing on as far as their creative process and their movements out here, man? When OneRPM is going to find a new artist and they want to be, an artist wants to make themselves attractive to OneRPM, what do they need to be doing?
For us, it's show us that you got a niche. So that you got, my man say niches make riches.
Facts.
And find your core audience of people who really, really rock with you, bro.
Yeah. Like
I think that I learned this when I was doing Jeezy, man. For people who don't know, I used to run the marketing for CTE for Young Jeezy.
Yeah.
And I found that early on when we were pushing Jeezy, that was mind you, this pre-Instagram, pre all of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting media sites at that time, blogs, the early stages of blogs that were like, well, we don't like this, and he can't really do this, and he can't rap, and he can't whoop whoop. And I remember spending a lot of time trying to convert those people, right? Spend a lot of time and energy like, okay, that so-and-so blog said they don't really rock with Jeezy. How we gonna fly him out to Atlanta and show him a good time, whoop, whoop, do this and the third, and try to make him change his mind.
Yeah.
And then at some point, we just kind of looked at each other and was like, this don't make no sense. Let's just rock with the people who rock with us, and if the people who don't, fuck them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the thing that artists have to do nowadays. Is like, yo, if you got, because I don't know if y'all seen the thing with the kid that's like he had a show out here in Atlanta. He only sold like 85 tickets, so he canceled the show.
Damn.
And I'm like, well, that kind of sucks because you just basically told 85 people that bought tickets to see you, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't matter because the numbers wasn't good enough, so I ain't coming to do it for y'all.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, man, rock with the folks that rock with you and just be cool with growing it and having the time and the patience to willingly just like, all right, cool, I got 500 fans that I can turn into 5,000 at some point.
Thanks.
That's going to really, really rock with me. I think everybody wants to be everything to everybody, so you lose. And you end up playing a game where you're playing a numbers game that you'll never win because the numbers are never going to be significant enough.
Exactly.
To sustain anyway.
What kind of numbers are impressive or good enough to be even considered? So they can just have at least a bar.
I don't know that there's a threshold necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in marketing, so I don't get into the A&R thing where I'm signing artists, right?
Yeah.
But we got some good people on the A&R side. Orlando McGee is one of the best A&Rs I've ever met in my life. Like, he's amazing. And we got Guccio and Jason up under him. But like, I've seen them sign artists that were very small. You know what I'm saying? We talking about they were only generating a few grand a month. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like $1 or $2 grand. You know what I'm saying? Something light. And then we have artists that I've watched make 6 figures a month. Like good 6 figures, solid 6 figures, not 99,000. I'm talking about well into 6 figures a month. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't think there's necessarily a number. I think it's, where is it trending? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're at 1,000, is it trending towards 2?
Yeah.
Or is your 1,000 trending toward 700?
Yeah.
And I think that if if your numbers are trending the right way and we like what we hear, I think those are the things that kind of bring people in. I think the good part about digital distribution is that we don't necessarily have to be right because we got time to grow.
Facts.
The deals are cut in your favor. And I think that's that was a learning curve for artists as well, right? You know, like anybody who signs to a company like ours assumes that we're a record label. And I'm like, we're not, with distribution. You know what I'm saying? Which is different because the deals are cut in your favor.
Yeah.
So that means you got to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
We're here to assist. We're here to back up. We're here to support. And there's a lot of things that we can do to really, really ramp you up. However, if the deal is cut 80-20, 80 for you, 20 for us, why would we do
80% of the work?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? Just think about that relationship in terms of any other thing in your life. It's like, you know what I'm saying? If you paying 80% of the bills or you doing 80% of, anything with your personal relationship, work, whatever, and then somebody say, all right, cool, let's bust the money down. And you're like, wait, we need to redo this.
Got to make it make sense.
Got to make it make sense. So I think with us, like, it's a game of being patient and growing with an artist. I love to see it. We got Big Baby Gucci. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he's an artist that's on OneRPM. And Big Baby Gucci, since I've been there in a short time, I've seen his streams rapidly grow. He's on tour now, and I'm like, damn, so like Shawty really
Yeah.
popping. And it's crazy because I wasn't even like familiar with him.
Yeah.
You know, going in, and as I've watched everything that he's done, I was like, wow, this is dope to kind of see in real time.
You were just talking about trending earlier. I had an interview that was trending a week or so ago with Dope Boy Raw.
That's my man. You know,
And
that's
I
a little
was-
bro to me.
Yeah, I already know. And I was thinking to myself, Raw did that interview with me about 4 years ago, and out of nowhere it hit for 4 million views on somebody else. But I'm like, maybe I should have put it up on TikTok. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I seen that. Matter of fact, Bobby Shmurda posted it. It was the craziest thing.
Bobby Shmurda posted it too.
Bobby Shmurda posted a piece of an interview that you did with Ra. It was funny because Bobby's one of our artists, so
Yeah.
I go through Bobby's social
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm flipping through, and I'm like, I saw Ra pop up, and I'm like, wait, am I? I'm like, am I on my thing again? I'm kind of looking, and I'm like, oh, Bobby. I said, what are the chances that Bobby would post Ra?
Exactly.
And it shot out of here because he was talking about the jury and having
Yeah.
the whole thing. So that was dope.
When you found him as a youngster, man, what was it like working with him? And then where the hell is Ra at now?
So Ra is on a little vacation. He'll be home soon, as I'm told.
Okay.
So can't wait. I can't wait to see him. I hope he's in better spirits. His grandmother passed. It would have been last year, 2021, and I knew that was a sensitive spot for him because he was really close to his grandmother.
Yeah.
So it took a little toll on him, but I mean he'll be home soon. But Ra, and I tell this to people all the time, man, like Ra's probably one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like
I'm with you.
People who know him as Dope Boy Ra may only be like, okay, cool. He do he spit the trap shit, and they like him as a whatever. But Ra can rap with your favorite rapper.
Yeah.
He can produce with your favorite producer. He can outdress 99% of the Ra really the total package, bro.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he got the style. He dressed like how people think Dipset be fresh.
Yeah.
Ra is Atlanta Dipset and has been that way since I've known him.
I'm with you.
And like I said, and just always could spit and produce and do. And, he can write songs. Like I don't even want to tell you some of the stuff that he's ghost written. That people would be like, he wrote for who? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Ra is amazing. I think with Ra, what you ran into is and I've told him this before. I think he had success early. He signed to Social Def when he was really, really young. Like Ra is much younger than people think he is.
Yeah.
But he's been in the game for a while. And he signed to So very, very early. The deal didn't work out. And so I watched Ra come out of that Social Def deal, and I watched how he adapted to being like quote unquote famous to having to kind of go back to Glenwood, go back and be around people who looked at him a certain way.
Yeah.
And now they looking like,
what you doing back here?
right.
Yeah.
And I watched him kind of like battle with that. But the thing that he always had was that talent.
That's
like
right.
he's so talented. And so and he's a stickler, he's like a perfectionist almost. So I would tell him like, oh bro, all you gotta do is go do this, do that. He'd be like, nah man, I don't want to shoot a video unless that video gonna look right. And I'm like, bro, you can't wait for everything to be perfect or you're never gonna drop because it's gonna always be a thing, right? But he's like, Nick, I'm not coming out the house unless my clothes look right, my video look right. And I think that stalled him to a certain degree, but what you did see is that when you saw him, it was right.
He was on.
And he was one of the people that he didn't know what he was doing at the time, but he was the ones that kind of beat the algorithm early.
What?
That Dope Boy, Dope Sell Itself series, he was just dropping music, dropping against the advice of me included, of several of us being like, bro, stop dropping all this music. Like, I don't even, what are we on, Dope Sell Itself 20? At this point, like it's a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? And all of them got 13, 15, 20 songs on them. And I'm like, bro, like I don't even know what's on what.
Yeah.
I just know I like the music.
Thanks.
And but Ra, like I said, it wasn't strategic. Ra was just like, I got some music, I've been recording, bam, it's going out. But what I watched him do in real time was go from like 25, 30,000 followers. He had just did the deal with Tip, the Grand Hustle deal.
Yeah.
Then went on tour. He got off tour. He had about 40,000 followers. He's only gained maybe like 10, 15,000 followers while he's on tour.
Yeah.
He got off tour, start dropping them records. And then next thing I know, within less than a year's time, 125,000 followers. I'm like, okay, maybe you was right. You know what I'm saying?
You know, when it comes to that algorithm, you got to feed that beast. That's
gotta
what people
feed the
don't
beast.
understand.
Yeah.
If you feed that beast, it'll show back up to you.
No, we tell people, man, you shouldn't go 6 weeks without dropping. Like we advise our artists, like, hey, 6 weeks shouldn't pass without you dropping something. A single, a project, a feature.
Come on.
Just something to keep feeding the algorithm, man. And I think that as much as people have given you a cheat code or a way to kind of work the system, I think that's a lot of pressure on the artist to tell somebody like, hey man, don't let a month or two go by without you doing something. It's like people ain't, artists weren't programmed that way.
Yeah.
They were programmed to drop a single or two, drop an album, and then sit back, promote an album for a little while. It's like, nope, but look around at some of your favorite artists. If you do the math, Drake kind of come with something.
That's why Future became
Future. Future is one of the top. Listen, bro. When live mixtapes was a thing,
yeah.
Shouts out to Pesh and all them. Like,
what up, though, Pesh?
They weren't streaming early before we were calling it what it is. But you know what I'm saying. Orlando McGee tells me this story all the time. He was like, bro, Future had these amazing numbers, but that wasn't the thing. Billboard didn't count streaming numbers at the time. The minute that they started counting streaming, Future went through the roof because he had built that following, which is, again, I tell people all the time, like, the old way works too now. Like, don't just discount. Future came up in that era of going to Magic City, sitting in the club, building fans, making records. He found a niche of people who wanted to hear what he did, and he grew it, kept dropping music, and then when it came time to really show off, he was there.
Okay, so Nick, take me to the coalition though. I mean, when you think about breaking records in this city, y'all were a major factor in that. What was that like in that Atlanta with the clubs being out the damn chain and y'all having a DJ in every last one of them and pressing buttons around here?
Hey man, listen, the early coalition, we started coalition in 2008, me and Big X. I was managing Jagged Edge's studio at the time, Jawar. So shouts out to the twins. Those are my guys, Brian and Brandon for sure.
Twins.
Mama Casey, Mamil, all of them. So, I'm at the studio in Decatur. I knew Funky through my homeboy June Dog. June Dog, for those that don't know, like, that's who really got me. Well, my older brother really was like, my older brother rapped, so he was kind of the one that introduced me to music. But June Dog, I went to high school with him. He was a couple years older than me. June used to sing on all the Kizzy Rock records. So all the Don't Stop It, Kid Rock, that was my partner. This is crazy. So he was singing all these hooks. So I was like, oh, you can really, that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, June was the man to me. So it's funny, like, all these like Jamie Foxx videos you see where Jamie is like singing like silly like nursery rhymes and stuff like that. June was doing that back in high school.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? He was singing like nursery rhyme records and being funny, but he sang like Brian McKnight damn near. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn. So I met Funky through June. And then I met Big X and everybody else through Funky. 2008 rolls around. I had already used these guys to break Jeezy. These were the same guys going through the strip club because that's where Jeezy hung out at. So it's kind of like, again, finding your niches. Niches bring riches.
Come on.
That was his niche. We like, well, shit, we always here. Let's just get with these guys. So we got with Funky, got with X, got with X-Rated, got with Nando. And then, like I said, at this point, managing Jagged Edge Studio at the same time I'm doing CTE stuff. X comes in, he says, hey bro, we need some office space. I said, you know what, the studio got plenty of office space. Why don't y'all just come work out the studio? And we sat there one day kicking around and we looking around and we saying, damn, you already got Legion of Doom, you already got Hitmen, Casper was running Hitmen, Ray Hamilton had Legion of Doom, Cannon and all them had affiliates. And we like, you guys need a crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all were already unhappy in the places that y'all had been before. For money reasons. And I'm like, okay, y'all need a crew. And y'all are in strategic places. Nando was at Magic at that time.
That's right.
And Onyx had just got going. And he was doing, it would have been, what was Kamal's, but it would have been platinum at that time. Still would have been platinum. Funky was at Strokers. X-Rated was at Magic City. X was doing platinum as well. So we had all these key spots. And I said, yo, I just broke Jeezy through y'all. And I can be the point person because everybody know me now.
Exactly.
Shit, I can get it done, man. And we started it, and bro, it shot off like a rocket. Like, no lie, like, people wanted to get their music, because we had already built this blueprint, this pipeline with Jeezy.
Yeah.
So everybody who came after that was just like, hey man, I want that Jeezy package. That's what they used to call it. I want the Jeezy package. Put my music everywhere y'all put his.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, bet. I know exactly who to take you to. I know every DJ in this city and who to get it to, man. But it was great, man, because it was, mind you, we coming off the BMF era.
Yeah.
The money was plentiful.
My God.
The people had seen a proven blueprint, so they knew it worked.
That's right.
And and what comes out of that blueprint is Future, Rocco, Shawty Low, Late Tip Records, 2 Chainz, Cash Out, everything that starts to kind of spring from the city, and that between like 2008 and 2016 is all Coalition.
Exactly.
And you could just go through the Atlanta history and do your Googles on that one, and that tell you everything we broke.
When Future touched down, man, and it was time to break him, what was it like helping him make his stain on the city? Because once he grabbed hold of them clubs, it was over. It
was over. So the cool thing about Future was that Future dropped the same time, and I always forget this kid's name. My man Chubby Baby. Chubby Baby had an artist. He had this song called "Meet Me in the Tunnel."
Yeah, I know. I know exactly.
Yeah, right.
Rock Mob. Was it Rock Mob?
No, that wasn't Rock Mob. I can't think.
No, I know what you're talking about. Had the waves.
Yeah, exactly.
I had him on the show.
No, Shawty had dreads, because I remember him and Future. I used to confuse them. They would come in the club, and I would be thinking it was one, and it was the other one. But Chubby Baby was behind dude at the Tunnel record, and I remember Shawty used to Chubby and them used to take to when Velvet Room was on Chambly Tucker.
Yeah.
Every time they would play the record, Chubby, dope as this is one of the greatest ideas he had, but it was so expensive. He would have the bottles come out every time they play the record. So they start the record. I think Infamous was DJing at the time.
Yeah.
And you just see 15, 16 bottles just come out the back every time this song played. So I was like, man, that shit looks amazing. So Future at the time was the underdog. Future was running around with Rocco.
Yeah.
Rocco just had, the leverage and the street cred and that and third. But, and they throwing money in the club, but it didn't look as pretty as what Chubby Baby and them was doing with Dude.
Exactly.
But we just kind of got behind Future because it was like, man, we like the underdog. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So while, and these are my brothers to this day now, but it's like while Infamous and some of the bigger DJs, radio guys were playing that record, we was like, we got this dude. So we just kind of backed Future on the strength of Rocco, and we just looked at the two and was like, he's the underdog, we want him.
Yeah.
And at that time, you're talking about, this is Watch This with him and Rocco. And
Woo.
And them 2 records, y'all know what you know what they did. And then by the time X-Rated got a hold of the Dirty Sprite tape, it was gone. And now mind you, like I said, we're actively breaking and Watch This in the club. X-Rated's on Dirty Sprite as one of the main him and Esco.
Yeah.
And so it's Coalition all over it.
My God.
Come on, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's why to this day everybody credits us with Future, because, you know what I'm saying, we was there in the beginning of Shawty.
2 Chainz. Titty Boy to 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
That was a real job that had to happen right there, man. You see what I'm saying? Because this man did a whole reinvention on everybody and came back and changed the game.
He did. Chainz, I met Chainz formally when we were doing, I don't know if you remember Beehive Radio.
Yeah, because folks used to confuse me with that. Right. Actually, that's what kind of helped me early on, because they thought I was Beehive. Right. And to this day, niggas still calling me Beehive. I'm like, God damn. But I know what you're talking about.
So Beehive Radio was an internet radio station. This
Michael
is
Johnson.
Yep, Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
So this is before we called it podcasting or whatever. It was still internet radio, right? Nobody really knew what it was.
Exactly.
And we were doing that, and I met Chainz around that time, right? Crazy. And so I never forget, we had a show on Beehive, and Chainz walks in, and because I knew him, I think I knew him through like Tech. I think Tech and them had Street Execs he had just started working with them. And Chainz walks in full 2 Chainz
regalia.
Doing being him, but being him at that time where it hadn't jumped off yet. This might have been pre-True Religion tape.
Ooh.
So this is like, it's coming.
Yeah.
But I think maybe Riding Around and Getting It was out, but the tape wasn't out.
Yeah.
And I remember Chainz sits down and he's like, bruh, for real, I'm just better than the rest of these. And I mean, he's popping. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I liked how he was popping, but he didn't have the success to back it up at the time.
Oh, okay.
So at that point, it's just like, oh, he just popping shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I liked how he was doing it. Because he was extremely confident. And I remember Chainz being like, man, I'm telling y'all, this thing finna work, it's finna blow, and when it blow, I'm gonna act. He said, I'm gonna act funny on all y'all, because he told us stories of people who had just kind of played him to the left, because you know what I'm saying, they just thought he was Luda's homeboy, or they might have knew him on some street shit, but they didn't take him seriously as an artist. And I just remember Change just being like, I'm just telling y'all what's finna happen. I'm just very, very, very arrogant about it.
Yeah.
And we was like, all right. And I remember him and Nando kind of clashed that day. And so when we would see him later on, like, cause mind you, we support him, cause this, you know, he the homie.
Yeah.
He from the hometown. But every now and then, 2 Chainz would do interviews. He'd be like, see, I told Nando. See, Nando didn't believe. And Nando would be like, it ain't that I didn't believe, bro. It's just you was
pissing me off.
You was popping early. You was popping before you had this.
Yeah.
He's like, so what I was supposed to do? Just buy in?
Yeah.
And Chainz like, yes. Yes, that's exactly what you supposed to do. When I told you I was finna be the one, you was supposed to buy in that day. And Chainz is, again, extremely talented. He knows how to make a record. But I just love his charisma. Like, he's a real star.
Yeah.
I never forget seeing Chainz at the Hawks game, and Matt Ryan was like 3 seats down from him. They was on the court side. And I watched little white kids climb over Matt Ryan to get the 2 Chainz. And I was like, oh, we tripping in Atlanta. I said, Atlanta is out of control.
Yeah.
Our starting quarterback is a nobody sitting next to dude.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I love Chainz. That's my man.
So now, when it comes to just breaking artists and just this industry as a whole, Nick, what are some of the stages that you saw these artists go through, man? And how do you feel like the industry treated these artists throughout their matriculation through this thing, man? Did it just eat them up, or did it make the dreams come true, or is it just a big belly of the beast that you find yourself in?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think that I think this industry is it's unforgiving and it's really cold, right? So you got to make the most of it. So I never blame or fault anybody who can't stick through it. I think the ones that survive it are truly survivors. You know, I call it, when I see people that I've known for years that are still in this business, and we see each other like, hey, still here, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, you still sticking it out, because we know how many of our people have either quit, or just kind of getting pushed out the game, and you know what I'm saying, like. And sometimes it's just sheer luck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I won't name any particular labels or whatever, but I think about my life and my career all the time. Like, I just happen to land in good spaces, right? I created a lot of shit on my own, and a lot of that, I'm smart and all that.
Yeah.
But I ended up with Jeezy at a time when Jeezy became one of the biggest artists, and that definitely helped spring my career forward.
Yeah.
But think about if you had ended up working for another artist who only had a hot summer or a hot year, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you work there and y'all popping and everybody's calling your phone and you the man or you the woman, and then that thing goes away, and so now there's no need to call you no more. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't have the creativity or the vision to see yourself into a new situation, it's like, well, what do you do? Yeah. And I watched a lot of people that I really like and I really respect just happen to end up with the 1-hit wonder or the 2-3 hit wonder that, like I said, after a year or so, now what? You know what I'm saying? So I made some good relationships throughout the years, and I'm not bitter about the game. But there was a time when I was so burnt out that I did walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like when I left Coalition, everybody, I remember when I left Coalition, everybody's like, "Oh man, what happened? Y'all fell out. You and him would beat." I'm like, no. I was tired.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? This
Folks
game.
don't think you can get tired in this game.
No, because they think you partying all the time. Everybody think you kicking it. You doing interviews. You in the club. You taking pictures. You traveling. So everybody like, why would you get tired of that? I'm like, bro, like this game is exhausting. My man Z is here. Like he'll tell you like he every time I say, man, I got so much to do. He said, bro, I've watched you for the past few months since I've been here around you, like you just working like this. This doesn't stop. And so, and especially when you're in a behind the scenes role like myself, there isn't much, like when I do these interviews, this is great for me because it's like no one talks or does anything for me. I'm constantly being asked to help somebody else. I gotta help get this DJ booked, help get this artist going, help propel this other person. So all of my resources, all my relationships, like when I call you Beehive, I never call you for Nick. I call you to say, hey, can you for somebody else? So after you do it for 100 other people, you tired.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're not getting.
Oh, it did. Yeah, because it might not be easy too when you try to do that. You might be going catching hell every time you're trying to help somebody.
And people don't understand that. I'm like, bro, like That's my friend. Beehive my partner. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to do that for you. He don't owe you that. Like, you're only on the phone with him or in front of him because I called him.
Yeah.
So, you know, after you do that for years of people and they're ungrateful,
I feel you.
or just, even if they are grateful, it's like, again, once you give, you kind of drained.
Yeah.
And I think this business does that to you. And
That's right.
It does it to the artist. The artist is like, yo, I know Jeezy used to do this thing during his shows where he'd be like, man, I gave y'all Trap or Die. Like, how y'all doubt me?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? I gave y'all, I'm the snowman. How y'all doubting that I can make a record or do it again? But that's the music business. Like, okay, you gave us that classic record or that classic song or that big hit. Do it again. And you start to be like, I'm never going to do enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never going to do enough, be enough to satisfy y'all. So I see why artists get to a point, and money wise or whatever, they like, man,
I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out.
Fuck this shit, because y'all don't appreciate me no way. You know what I'm saying? But it sucks because I watched I won't name the artist, but I just watched a guy over the past maybe year or so. He's just been like, I don't do this for the approval of the fans. I don't do this to please nobody. I'm like, bro, you spent the first 13 years trying to appease and please everybody. Like, you courted our fandom for years, and now you've gotten to a point where you're like, I don't do this I don't need nobody's opinions, and I don't care if y'all like this. And it's like, I know how you got here.
Yeah.
I know where that feeling comes from, but it's, you start to see fans be like, well, he don't care no way. It's like, yeah, but he does that because of y'all.
Facts.
Y'all pushed him here. You know what I'm saying? And I watched it. I'm watching it with other artists now that, you know, like a couple of big artists being like,
I'm done.
I'm over it.
Being somebody that has been a part of a lot of legendary shit, does that ever get old?
It only gets old. Well, no, being a part of legendary stuff doesn't get old.
Okay.
I think it kind of goes back to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's the lack of like nobody pats you on the back in this business. You might get some more money.
Yeah.
Which has to be what it is, right? That has to be your thank you in a lot of ways. But like, you don't get like, I tell people all the time, like, like, first of all, I'm really, really good at what I do.
That's right.
Damn near great.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really, really, really good at what I do. But I've also been this way since I was a kid. So when you set the bar kind of high, people come to expect it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh. So it's like, and I was just talking about this the other day. I was doing something on Fanbase with my man Isaac over there.
Yeah.
And we was having a call about like setting the bar low, because when you set the bar low, people are like, when you do the minimum, everybody's like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's like think about like how people view men, right? And you'd be like, man, look at him taking care of his kids.
Exactly.
Wow, that is like
amazing.
He picked his kid up from school. Get out of here. It's like, yeah, that's his kid.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like when I do something amazing or that I know is not the norm, nobody is like, wow, Nick, I can't believe you did. Everybody's like, that's Nick.
Exactly.
And that's just what Nick does. Of course, Nick is attached to this thing or that thing, or he got that opportunity, or he went to that place or got that award. Everybody's like, cool. And I watch some of my peers who have been kind of fumbling through and fucking up. When they do half of what I did, everybody's like, yo, did you see that? I'd be like, so that's the part that gets old. You know what I'm saying? Of like,
I'm here with that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Nick, being somebody that was there with Jeezy from the jump, how did y'all link up, and what was it like being a part of that movement? And then talk about that Atlanta at that time.
So, all right, so when I first got in the music business, I was interning, right? One of the stops that I made was at DTP. My man Goose, shouts out to him. He gave me an opportunity over at Disturbing the Peace, which, first of all, shouts out to Shaka. You know what I'm saying? My prayers is up. You know, it's my man Shaka. Get well soon, Shaka. But DTP is probably, okay, so, you know, in the early 90s, Atlanta had LaFace.
That's right.
So if you was of an age, of a certain, of that time, like a lot of people worked at LaFace.
That's right.
In my era, when I was coming up, everybody kind of came out of DTP.
That's
Shaka
crazy.
and Jeff gave everybody an opportunity to do something.
Damn.
And so I was interning at Disturbing the Peace early on, and I wasn't making no money. I was intern. Yeah. And so I'm like, how can I make some money? So I came up with this story. I tell my man Goose, I said, yo, you know, y'all got me running around Atlanta breaking records and, you know, dropping off Bobby V records and stuff at the time. I said, you know, I can go to cities around Atlanta and get it going in there. I said, will y'all pay me if I do that? They like, yeah, because we don't want to go to Columbus and Macon and Augusta and all this stuff around. I was like, bet. So I was like, yeah, you know, I do that all the time. They like, for real? So that's how I got my first check. My first check in the music business really came from me telling a lie and them going for it. And I was like, bet. So they gave me gas money and a couple bucks. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough to put something in my pocket.
That's right.
And so I started, my mom is from Columbus, Georgia. So I started in Columbus. Yeah. Then I was like, man, you know, well, if I can drive 2 hours to Columbus, I can drive an hour and a half to Macon, 2 hours to Augusta, 2 hours to Chattanooga, 2 hours to Birmingham. I just started drawing a circle around the city.
Exactly.
And so while I was down in Macon, I met a lot of good people. DJ Smooth.
Smooth, what up, though?
DJ Smooth. I met him years ago.
My God.
DJ T Love, my man LJ Malone. And so LJ actually introduced me to Jeezy and King. But at that time, they were Young Guns Entertainment. They weren't even CTE yet.
Facts.
And at the same time, I had a job in the tag office. I was in the tag office off Holcomb Bridge Road in Alpharetta. So the story goes like this. I'm in the tag office. Kink comes in to renew the tags for Young Guns Entertainment. And older lady who's working with me, she takes him. But everybody in the office knows I do music or trying to do music. Yeah. So when he walks out, the lady says, hey, Nick, do you know that guy? I'm like, who was it? She's like, I don't know. Some guy, but it was something entertainment. Maybe you should reach out to him. I'm like, all right, cool. So I get up from my desk and I walk outside and it's Kink. I already met him.
Yeah.
And so he's looking at me in my little polo shirt, khakis. He's like, what are you doing here? I thought you... I'm like, yeah, bro, I got a job, bro. I got kids. I had a kid. I had one kid at the time. I'm like, bro, I got to make money.
Come on.
That don't really pay me for real. So I got this job.
Come on.
He's like, man, we looking for somebody to do our marketing, bro. And he said, this was like right when they transitioning from Young Guns to Corporate Thugs. And he's like, I'm like, where the office at? He's like, man, we in the house down the street. I'm like, huh, okay, house down the street. How much you gonna pay me? And he said, he gives me a number. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna quit this job and I'm gonna come work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally how it happened. I met them on a fluke down in Macon and then ran into them in Atlanta, and that's how I got to get. They were still working out of a crib.
Oh my God.
And Alpharetta, man. But Atlanta at that time was buzzing because you gotta remember at that point, before Jeezy, the biggest thing in the city was Tip.
Yeah.
And Tip had the city on fire.
Yeah.
The West Side, Bankhead, they was sticking their chests out.
Feeling good.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
And I always joke about how West Siders kick it because I'm from the East. I'm from Decatur, so it's like the West Side at prime Tip was like
couldn't tell them
nothing, nothing. You know what I'm saying? This is prime Atlanta, so it's like it was dope to kind of watch the growth of Tip, the emergence of Jeezy, and just everything that sprang forth from it. Because again, like this is BMF era. This is coming out of Crunk, coming out of Snap, and then going into trap.
What a time to be alive,
It was
Nick.
the best time to be alive,
Come on, man.
The best time because I got to see John, Parlay, D4L, Franchise Boys, everybody, like Tip. You got to see everybody within maybe a 5-year span of just like, Atlanta is never going to let up. And I just saw it. Like, so we went through 3 eras in about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no one can stop us because we keep changing and evolving.
Okay, you touched down over there at CTE, and it's time for you to lay the smack down on the marketing tip. What was that like when you said, okay, let me figure out how the hell I'm going to market this thing?
Surprisingly easier than people think it was. The thing, dealing with Jeezy was a whole nother animal because Jeezy's Jeezy. I don't know if that's a Libra thing or what. But the cool thing about Shawty is that he knows what he is, who he is, and what he wants to be.
Yeah.
So it presented some challenges early on. I think there were a lot of opportunities that I brought, Kink brought, Coach K. This is this early Coach K as well.
Yeah.
They were bringing opportunities to the table for him, and he was turning them down. And we were like, why? Like, bro, like that's a big check. That's a big opportunity. He's like, man, that ain't, and in my mind, as he's doing these things, you remember the Dave Chappelle skit of like keeping it real go when keeping it real go wrong? That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, this dude being so real that we're missing opportunities. But the cool thing about him was that he was like, no, this doesn't serve my core audience and who I am. And and he used to remind us daily, I'm the one that got to stand next to this. Nick, if this doesn't work, you get to go off and do something else and be,
And I'm looking like a clown out here.
And I'm looking crazy.
Yeah.
And it changed the way I viewed everything from that day forward when I got with artists, because when I would suggest something and they turned it down, I didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
They were right. if I tell Beehive, hey bro, you know to be dope, you should be the host of some crazy reality show, and then it don't work. I'm like, all right, cool. So now I'm over here and I'm working with him now, and you stuck being the reality show guy. And it's like, and where Nick go?
And it's the biggest flop of my life.
And you look crazy because you're the face of it. You know what I'm saying? And so Jeezy was the one who taught me that. So, and then Coach K was the one who was like, we gonna go big. Like Coach always had a vision.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, nah, this is how we're going to attack this. So all I had to do was execute. You know what I'm saying? So when, you know, Coach K comes up with Snowman, I'm like, all right, cool. This is how we gonna tear the streets up. This is how we gonna move. This is the places we gonna go. We already there anyway, talking to the DJs. We already at the club. So let's smash these clubs. So then it became just, all right, we're gonna just beat Jeezy, you know, making sure Jeezy saw it when he pull up, right? So me and the street team, all right, where Jeezy going tonight? He going to Strokers? Bet. We're going to go kill Brockett Road. Oh, he going to Magic? All right, cool. We're gonna tear the street up.
All right.
But when you are left with that Snowman poster, my man just told me, he's like, yo, that's top 5 hip hop promo, you know what I'm saying? Promos ever. But you remember that Snowman was kind of like the bat signal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You started driving down Northside Drive. You started driving down Peachtree Street back in the day, going to Visions. And all you see is Snowman posters for a mile.
Come on, you know snow somewhere around here.
Hey man, you know something going on.
Come on.
And I think that, you know, just watching that made it really, you know, kind of sharpen my skills in terms of like, okay, it doesn't have to be busy. It don't have to look over the top. It don't have to be crazy. It can be simple and effective.
Come on.
And you know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from that opportunity, man. Like, and none of the things I'll ever take away, no matter how anything played out after that.
BMF at the same time, man. I mean, they in the clubs going crazy as well, man. What was that time like, promoting, marketing, and then just having your finger on the pulse of the city and what's going on?
I remember the first time I saw Meech, and the guy. I'll never forget this. I was at Jazzy T's, one of my old favorite haunts in Decatur, man. Shouts out to Jazzy T's and anybody from the original Atlantans that know about Jazzy T's. And if you remember Jazzy T's, you walk in the club. It was a one level club where the DJ booth was up some steps.
Yeah.
Funky was up there DJing. I'm talking to Funky. I come back down. Some other guys passed me. I don't think nothing of it. And I remember some money started falling from the DJ booth. And in my mind, I'm like, oh snap! Somebody done dropped their money.
Yeah.
Not knowing they were purposely throwing it. Now, mind you, at this time we don't have it wasn't called making it rain. It was that wasn't the thing. It was just, hey man, some dudes in there like losing their mind, throwing money, and we could. I personally was like, I don't. That doesn't seem fiscally responsible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting my college hat on. Like, I don't think that's a very smart business decision to just be tossing money in the air.
Yeah.
And I remember telling people that story, and they was like, no way.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, bro, for real. We was in Jazzy. My partner was with me, and he's with me. He's co-signing my story, and everybody's like, Nick, you full of shit. You know what I'm saying? You're making that up. Yeah. And I remember fast forward that becoming a thing, and I said, I told y'all. And you know, that BMF story is like an urban legend now. Yeah. Their run through Atlanta is unparalleled. And if you wasn't here and people tell you the stories, you think we were lying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Seeing all the Lamborghinis and the Mercedes and all those cars back to back to back to back. I remember going to the Lenox Mall and the valet was them. You know what I'm saying? Like, just all black, foreign, expensive cars.
Yeah.
Just them that had taken over. At that time, you know, back in them days, we looked at Lenox Mall like...
We didn't go to Lenox unless you had money.
You had to have some money to go to Lenox. That was like a big deal if you went to Lenox for something. I don't care what you went to. I don't care if you went in there and got some socks.
Exactly.
You're like, you went to Lenox? Oh,
what was going on up there?
Hey, man, you popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the rest of us went to South Cab.
Exactly. In Greenbrier.
And that's what it was. Yeah, that's what we went to.
Exactly.
So Lenox was like... And Phipps wasn't even wasn't even an option.
Okay, see, now you taking me there. I was just trying to explain this to somebody the other day. I said, first of all, my ass didn't go to Phipps till I was damn 30-something years old. Okay?
Exactly.
I wasn't even thinking about going to no Phipps.
Nah.
I was in Phipps the other day, and I'm seeing young boys in there with money.
18.
Is that 18 years
just
old?
Buying random stuff. Yeah.
Like, this was not going on when I was a kid.
When I was 18, South Cab was the biggest name in the world to me. So it's like Lenox wasn't even like that was a dream.
Come on.
And Phipps, like I said, it wasn't even an option. So you looking at BMF taking over Lenox Square Mall, it was like, what do you mean they took over Lenox? Like I said, not Greenbrier.
Yeah.
Lenox Mall, they in the valet showing out.
My God.
And that era, like I said, man, just it's one of those things. Like I said, it sounds like an urban legend. It sounds like you're talking about Paul Bunyan and the Blue Ox.
Come on.
When you tell people like, oh no, bro, they did this and they did that and they spent this amount of money and they threw this and it was money up to my knees, and it was like, nah, bro, like that really happened. We was in Magic and it was incredible. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like to see that and just know that one, it was money out here like that. Because I think that, coming from, like even when you think about Tip in his days, Tip didn't feel like money to the ceiling. Tip felt like a hustler.
Yeah.
Tip felt like I always joke about West Side. Tip felt like a hustle. I go buy some sneakers.
Yeah.
I could get some polo.
Come on.
Get fresh, go get some girls. That's how I kick it. When Jeezy and the BMF era and all that stuff came through, it looked like, oh, y'all hustling and like just stacking money. Like
y'all got money to blow.
Y'all got money to blow. And that was unheard of for black people, young black people, to just have money to blow. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a couple extra $100 and you decided to go buy some, expensive jacket or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. But not, you got enough money to just toss it?
Extra thousands of dollars.
Yeah, extra thousands of dollars. Just on some like,
tens of thousands.
What's money? And that was like, and so to see that in real time was just, it leaves a mark on you, you know what I'm saying? In some good ways and some bad ways, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a lot of craziness that happened behind that too. So, some people that was lost along the way of that movement. But the time Atlanta today, 2022 Atlanta is not the same Atlanta that I grew up in, man. And it's an unfortunate in a lot of ways.
Okay. The stress of that time at the same time, you seeing the balling and all of that stuff going on, but you also seeing the underbelly of the beast at the same time. Yeah. What was that like, being that close and seeing what the hell's going on?
I mean, honestly, at that time, I didn't feel no way because I was part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you in the mix, you don't really notice how crazy it is. And I think the blessing for me is that I've always had friends that were not in this business. Yeah. So I had something to kind of I had real friends, right? That have that aren't in this business, don't want to be in this business. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? One of my best friend in the world. He was in the military and he fixes machinery right now. It's my man Cash, and like he don't care nothing about being in the music business. He don't want to come to no video shoots. He don't want to. Hey man, it's just my partner, and so I got to leave that space and go over here and be regular. Yeah. But when you in it, you don't notice sometimes, and I think the music business for sure is just synonymous with that. You be in it and you don't notice some of the stuff that has become normal to you. And it's not normal to everybody else, right? Yeah. So you're seeing money, you're having access to places, to people, to things, and then you start being like, oh, all y'all don't do this? This is not, we don't all eat at this restaurant or kick it this way, but I remember feeling, part of the reason that, my ex-wife is my ex-wife is because this business numbs you to everything, right? Yeah. So I always applaud people that are my age that have been married 15, 20 years. It's like, damn, bro, like, because I know what this business does to you. Yeah. And I remember my ex-wife at the point telling me like, yo, things are happening in our lives and it doesn't move you. Good stuff or bad stuff, you know what I'm saying? I surprised you for your birthday, you like, cool. You know what I'm saying? Somebody passed, you like, hey. And then it's like on to the next moment. And I remember her being like, what happened? And at that time, I couldn't explain it because I didn't really know what it was. Yeah. But looking back, I can now tell you like, no, I know exactly how I got to that state of just overload. Sensory overload, right? And just feeling like, never get too high, never too low. So everything is this.
Because if you do get into it, you might go crazy.
Oh, no, you will. You'll jump off a building.
You see what I'm saying?
Like if you get sucked into the highs of what it is. And the lows. Yeah, the lows will kill you because the highs are so high. You know what I'm saying? I remember my first time going on tour with Jeezy, and we went to Detroit for the Super Bowl. I remember, I'll never forget because it snowed. And I don't remember what year this was. It might have been 5, 6, 7, something like one of those. The Super Bowl's in Detroit, and we go to Detroit, and again, Jeezy's on fire. Yeah. So we get invited to like the Michael Jordan Nike party. We at the NFL exclusive thing. We're at Diddy's private whatever. Yeah. Like we did, this is just a 3-day run of just like, I'm seeing stuff like, I didn't even know these things existed. Yeah. But then you'll come home And you know, your kids and your wife they've been living regular life, right? So you trying to, and they like, we don't get it. Okay, so you know, I'm like, what y'all do this weekend? And they're like, well, you know, Teletubbies came on, and you know, then we went to the park, and you're like, now you bored with your family. now your kids are boring you. You're like, oh my God, like do something already. You know what I'm saying? Why y'all ain't make a movie while I was gone? Y'all ain't do nothing. Like y'all ain't hit the club. You know what I'm saying? My kids like 5 and 2. Like, y'all ain't do nothing with y'all life the whole time I was gone. Like I was out.
Come on.
I was with Michael Jordan. Like do something.
My God.
And but like you said, but if you get sucked into that, then you have to eat the lows too, right? And the lows can get really low. I remember when I left Jeezy like officially, when I was like, all right, I'm starting my own business. And I remember Tony Neal. It wasn't Tony Neal. It was damn, what's my guy's name? I can't remember his name. It's one of the core DJs. Yeah. And I remember calling him and saying, hey, bro, I'm not over there no more. But do y'all mind leaving me on the email blast list because you know, so I still want to get new music. And I never forget his words. He said, bro, you ain't leave the music business. You left a job. Ooh. And I was like, oh. It just made me breathe and be like, oh yeah, like I didn't die. I'm still here. I'm just not at that previous thing. Yeah. And that gave me life because at a point there was where I noticed that the phone wasn't ringing as much. There wasn't I wasn't getting invited to certain things. So there was a lull of maybe year and a half, 2 years of just feeling like, damn man, like I just kind of fell off the earth a little bit. And him saying that meant everything at that time. Yeah. And again, it changes my perspective on, okay, gotcha. Not dead. I'm here to fight another day. There's more opportunities out there. I just got to go work my 1-2. And if I can do that, I'm cool. Yeah. So that's always been the advice I gave other people. Like, yo, man, like you can stick this out. You just gotta believe in yourself.
Come on.
And believe that you add value to whatever situation you in. Like, facts. And I've always added value. Now that's one thing I can say. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell people like, yeah, I'm great at what I do. I'm smart and all that stuff. But the one thing I've always done is been able to add value in every situation I was in. Like I said, when I was at DTP, I was like, hey, I can expand this music beyond Atlanta. When I was with Jeezy, I was like, hey, man, I can do the jobs that y'all don't want to do, I'll do them. I'll go find the team. I'll go hire the staff. I'll be the bad guy for this. I'll be, I'll whatever for that. When I got the coalition, hey man, I'll go pick up the money. I'll essentially be customer service when the artist is feeling away or y'all didn't do this. Y'all ain't got to be the bad guy. I got it. And being able to do that and add value everywhere, made me valuable.
Exactly.
And let me know that I can stick this thing out.
But the coalition DJs, when Nando got killed, man, how did that impact you?
Personally, I still haven't recovered, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Nando was a good dude. And when Nando, I'll never forget it, I had just, crazy story. So I'm post-divorce. Well, me and my wife are split at this time. I'm in an apartment by myself. So mind you, I split with my wife, my kids are with her. I'm in this apartment off of Snapfinger in Decatur. And it's a 1-bedroom apartment. And we had just had New Music Monday the night before. Yeah. It was, I'll never forget, he got killed on a Monday night. We were all together and they had started this thing where we would all shoot pool at the studio. They would leave, go to Cheetah and eat, and then they'd all go to Magic. I would do it with them most times. This particular night, I don't go. So I think it was Nando, Shawty Rock, Outer Space, handful of them, they all went to Cheetah, got some food, and they went to Magic. They all hanging. Yeah. And they leave. 3-4 hours later, I get a call. So it's like 6 a.m. Big X called me. He said, hey man, Nando got shot. I said, what do you mean? He said, Nando got shot. I said, where he at? I said, I'm in my mind, I'm thinking he got shot at the club. I'm thinking he's at Magic and something happened in the parking lot, some random, something crazy. He like, no. They shot him at his house. Shit. I said, what? He said, yeah, man, Nando dead. And I just remember just being like, I couldn't comprehend it. Yeah. Because, Nando wasn't no street guy. Yeah. He wasn't involved in nothing on the side. Yeah. This was like a dude who was just an incredible DJ. Yeah. Like really the best DJ in this city at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like he was the guy. Yeah. Like in amongst coalition, mind you, was like I said, the original 4 is Nando, X-Rated, Big X, and Funky. But amongst them 4, Nando was Michael Jordan. Woo. Like I don't care how you slice it. Nando was the first DJ that was like, I'm a DJ and I'm gonna promote the night. Yeah. So Onyx on Friday nights, he was getting the door, the DJ money, and the tips from the artists that was coming in. Nando was walking out of that club with thousands of dollars weekly. Like it wasn't nobody else in the city doing that. And like Nando controlled it all. Nando was the first DJ live streaming. He was using Ustream.
Yeah.
This is when Ustream first came around. So he's Ustreaming his sets at the club. He's getting the girls on the camera. Like Nando was so ahead of his time.
Yeah.
With everything. And so when he dies, it was just like, what do we do? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we? You know, and I just remember being like, I don't want to.
I'm out.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
Like, if y'all kill Nando, y'all kill anybody.
Yeah.
And then the crazy thing about them killing Nando is Nando got killed January 14th. Christmas Eve, my apartment that I was in had got broken into.
Damn.
And then maybe a few days after that, out of space, something had happened to his car. So when Nando gets killed, we all looking around like, okay,
what's going on?
Is somebody targeting us?
Yeah.
Or is just a random series of events?
Yeah.
So this is when everybody who didn't have a gun went and got one.
Yeah.
The ones that had guns, like, we finna go get some more guns.
Exactly.
And so the following Mondays, when we were doing New Music Monday for months,
Yeah.
I remember everybody just coming in and, like, you know, you have a table like this, everybody walking in like, hey, everybody put their bags down. Bunch of pistols hit the table.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, like, we don't know what's going on, man. And then, you know, the worst part about it is 7 years later, like I say, 8 years now, they still haven't caught nobody.
Damn.
There's a lot of rumors about what happened, who was involved, all this, that, and third, but nothing's been like proven or sustained. Nobody been prosecuted for it. So it's like, essentially somebody got away with murdering, you know, like somebody who was very, very close to me. You know what I'm saying? And it just made me just look at the business, the nightlife, the city just differently. And I think that's what everybody's seeing nowadays in Atlanta of like, yo man, y'all, like when Shaka got shot, it was like, y'all shot Shaka?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Ain't
like,
nobody safe.
Right. And I think it took that away from me.
Yeah.
I think as a person who was born and raised in this city, who has always viewed Atlanta a certain way, and I always felt like, well, I'm from here.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody finna.
Exactly.
Because I'm from here. Everybody know me. So, some of us are not, not invincible ain't the word, but, you know, like we kind of.
You cool. You know you ain't in no shit.
Ain't in no shit. You know what I'm saying? I go where I want to go. I can pop up on the west side, south side, go north, hang out somewhere. Ain't no thing.
Yeah.
But now it's like, nah, bro, y'all knocking off or trying to knock off people who are in a lot of ways like myself. So I'm like, nah, y'all got it.
My God.
Yeah, man. So it changed everything for me.
After that, how did you move forward from that, man?
Cautiously.
Yeah.
Cautiously, and then started to kind of figure out, okay, if I don't want to be out in the club every night, because I don't want to be out at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Because mind you, I was carrying more money than anybody, because you got to think about it. I was the one that everybody was paying to get to the DJs. I was the point person. So, you know, I'm meeting everybody 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, coming up to the club, pulling up in neighborhoods and being like, somebody handed me $5 grand, $10 grand for the guys. So I'm the person, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm cool on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You start looking at everybody kind of like, and you know, you just get paranoid, right?
Come
like
on.
you start moving around, you go get some gas. You're like, I wonder they know if I got this money on.
Yeah.
I wonder who knows this money is in my car, or in my
Yeah.
book bag. And I just was like, no, I don't want to really do this, man. It took away that sense of security, but you move on because you just say, well, I mean, you kind of have to, right?
You gotta
nothing
live.
Nothing else stops.
Exactly.
The bills don't stop.
Come on.
Your kids don't stop growing.
Exactly.
Life goes on. Your job goes on, or whatever, whatever have you, man. And it's unfortunate. And people would say, hey, man, it'll be all right, man. And then they push you on like, all right, I need you to do another thing for me.
Get back in the fight.
Hey, so, that's the game, bro. So, like, again, I think that desensitization that I got early on.
Yeah.
It served me well because I was able to kind of at a point just kind of, put that force field up.
But then you crunk up the bite life.
Bite life, yeah.
It's time to eat good in this thing, and that was peaceful. You see what I'm saying?
Honestly, that was and the bite life kind of was triggered from that. You know what I'm saying? I had started to look, prior to that happening, but I noticed that I used to eat my money. I don't really have a lot of vices. You know what I'm saying?
I do that too, though.
See, I'm not a Louis Gucci guy.
Yeah.
I'm not into fixing cars. I don't care nothing about, you know what I'm saying? At that time, I liked sneakers, but I wasn't heavy into it like I am now.
Yeah.
So my money always went to
Eating good. Come on.
And it started from being out in the studio at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and being like, bro, I can't eat another Crystal's burger. I can't eat another 99-cent McDonald's burger. I'm gonna kill myself if I have to eat another, you know what I'm saying, Waffle House patty. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, it's got to be something else out in the city that I can eat at this late.
Yeah.
So the first thing I discovered was like R. Thomas.
Yeah.
And that was everybody's introduction into like, oh, there's an alternative to Waffle House, right? So you find out about R. Thomas, and then it was like, okay, well, where else can I go?
Yeah.
Then I started finding like little hotel lobbies that served food to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So after a while, I'm posting this on, early. So just Facebook at this point, Twitter, this is pre-Instagram, pre all of that. And so I just kind of became the guy that everybody hit up and was like, hey, bro, it's my birthday, or it's me and my girl anniversary, or it's Valentine's Day. Where can I go?
Exactly.
Because I was eating $100 lunches.
Come on.
At a point, because mind you, I got the money, and I'm just kind of naturally curious and exploring the city. So I'm like, oh, I don't have to get a burger from Wendy's. I can get a burger from this restaurant. Now, mind you, the restaurant burger $15.
Exactly.
But I got $15. You know what I'm saying?
Burger good as hell, though.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly, man. So I was the one that was like, hey, bro, if you really want to take your girl somewhere nice, you need to take her over here.
Yeah.
Or I done found this little duck off spot over here. This what was the little spot everybody duck off used? I ain't gonna blow up nobody's spot. Like back in the day, this would have been a thing. Bucket shop, right across the street from Lenox Mall. Yeah. That was the thing that stayed open to 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And then you go in there, you be like, oh damn, everybody in their side piece in the buckets. Like you like, yo, hey, that ain't your girl. That ain't your girl. I know your girl. And like bucket shop used to be lit. 1 o'clock in the morning, you like, hey, bro, let me get up out of here. Y'all in here playing. What's Benny Hanna's? During the day.
Yeah.
That Benny Hanna's lunch on P Street, across from Houston's. Club Benny Hanna's back in the day was like, that's where you went to really see, because if you had to, and it's funny because that was my main ambition getting into the music business was like, I remember I used to drive trucks from Mellow Mushroom. And I remember coming down between Lenox and Phipps, and I forgot the restaurant that used to be in the front of Phipps. But I remember riding through it like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and seeing people out on the patio drinking, eating, and all that. And I was like, man, one day I want to be that.
Exactly.
I don't know what they do, but one day I want to be able to drink a cocktail at 2 in the afternoon on a Wednesday.
Come on.
That was my main motivation for life, right? Like it wasn't, I want to be rich, I want to be famous. It was, I just want to be able to, and funny, I wasn't even drinking at that time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be able to.
Come on.
And I remember Benny Hanna's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon during the week, like bro, like that felt like you was popping. If you could afford and had the freedom to go to Benny Hanna's at 2 in the afternoon on a Thursday, you was popping.
Come on,
because the only people who was in there was folks who, just the strippers that just woke up. All the dope boys just getting up at noon. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And this is like people in there drinking, kicking it, and they ain't had nowhere to be in 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't on no 30-minute lunch break. Exactly. It was like, because Benny Hanna, y'all know that takes a while.
Exactly.
You got to sit there and wait for them to bring the food out. Everybody, 8 people to show up at the table, the whole 9.
Break dance with the spatula.
Yeah. So if you got time to eat Benny Hanna's on a Wednesday, you popping. You somebody.
This Atlanta now that we got though, Nick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about how the city's changed and, it got kind of real out here in these streets in the last week. It's been real, okay?
It's been very real.
What's been going through your mind seeing this change right here?
I want to see more appreciation for what it is.
Yeah.
I think that Atlanta has done an incredible job of selling the city too busy to hate, the melting pot, the city of opportunity for people, black people, Wakanda. We've done all these things that have just told the story of how great Atlanta is.
Yeah,
and I think that what has happened in the last year or so is that Atlanta's still great, but you're seeing a seedier side of it, and that the people that are moving here is like, man, I thought y'all told me Atlanta was this, and I get here. It down there like where I left.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like for whatever reason I left. It's like, and that's the part that I'm like, damn, I really wish we could keep that image, that thing that makes us special. I really wish we could keep that up. Yeah. Where people are like, nah, this is why I moved here.
Exactly.
And it's almost like, how like when they would talk about immigrants moving to the United States and they were like, bring us your poor, your tired, Statue of Liberty, the whole 9. Atlanta is that for black people.
Yeah.
So how many, I think we can all name a bunch of black people who moved here from New York, Cali, wherever they came from, Chicago. Better weather, lower cost of living, more opportunities, all this stuff. Now, cost of living damn near,
Through the roof.
Crime is up.
Through the roof.
everything is kind of like, damn, what's happened?
What's happening?
What's happening to Atlanta? And I think we can get there. We tend to persevere and we tend to like figure it out. But I really hope we find a way to establish a true identity of what we are and what we plan to be. Mm-hmm. I think me and my cousin. Has Bame been my cousin Bame Joyner?
Yeah.
So Bame Joyner is my cousin. He does Atlanta Influences Everything.
Okay.
So me and him had this conversation all the time about, does Atlanta even have an identity?
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? We have that conversation all the time about like, by the time Atlanta was really establishing a real identity, the Olympics came and then everybody started showing up. And so we probably only had maybe a year or two of like,
Atlanta.
This is Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like this is Outkast.
Yeah.
When LaFace and Outkast is moving around and we're becoming like Braves jerseys everywhere, all of that. 2 years later, boom, everybody starts moving here. So now Atlanta becomes a mix of New York, a mix of LA, and a mix of Chicago, and a mix of Detroit, and a mix of this place and that place. So what is the Atlanta identity? I think we associate it with like soul food and Southern hospitality and all of that, but for real, what is it? And now it's damn sure hard to distinguish because so many people have moved here. Where are we at? Like the people who was born and raised here, where did we go?
It's sad. A lot of good people that were raised here moved the hell out too.
But move where?
To where everybody coming from. Folks going to, I got partners in Houston, Cali, New York. Atlanta folks.
That's crazy because
folks that could really had helped to move the culture forward too.
Right.
Ain't just no regular folks. These folks is doing their thing in these other cities, and it's like, we needed you to do that here. No, I was just telling somebody the other day, man, like I see people from Detroit click up down here in Atlanta. Yeah. New Yorkers click up. What's my spot? Copper Cove. Yeah.
Shouts out to Rugs. You go to Copper Cove out here, it's nothing but New Yorkers. Like they deep over there at Copper Cove. It's a lot of spots where I just see other cultures in other cities where they've met in Atlanta, and it's a bunch of them. And I'm like, I wonder if I go to another city, are there a bunch of Atlantans that are like, hey, like it's 100 of us here in Charlotte or 100 of us in Dallas,
LA,
somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love to just run into a gang of Atlanta folks, and not like on a special weekend.
Exactly.
Like when I go to LA and it's the awards or something, I see the whole city of Atlanta at the BET Awards. I see the whole city of Atlanta at Memorial Day weekend down in Miami. But I'm talking about just living, kicking it on a day-to-day basis.
Exactly.
Here we are. So I hope we can figure out kind of what that is, and everybody can just learn to kind of coexist together. Because Atlanta at this point is not old South or old. It looks like
metropolitan.
Some Atlanta folks mixed with New Yorkers and this and third. And so whatever this new thing is, I think we just need to figure that part out.
What advice do you have for the next young guy looking to get into this industry, and then also when it comes to the money in the game? Where should somebody set their sights on how to obtain money, and what kind of money do they need to be looking for? Whether it be an artist, manager, A&R, record label, whatever it is.
For me, I would tell anybody who's looking for money, because I'm not a big fan of chasing the money.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to be cliche. I just say that to say it's just never gonna be enough. Like there's no, you can, whatever number you go. I got a partner, a good partner of mine. He's a millionaire for sure, and he's still chasing.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you set these numbers in your head. Like one day, if I ever make $100,000, I'll be straight. But then you get $100,000, you like,
this ain't enough.
This ain't enough. Now I want two. Now I want 250. Now I want a half. Now I want, you know what I'm saying? So it's you chase the money, you're gonna run yourself crazy.
Yeah.
I think right now, especially if you're getting into the music business, just do enough to pay little bills. That's how I got started.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't need to pay for my whole life today.
Yeah.
Let me just ask this dude if he'll pay me enough to cover my cell phone.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Now I got my cell phone covered. All right, cool. Let me charge the next guy enough to cover my car note. All right,
Exactly.
cool. Now I'm gonna charge the next guy enough to cover rent.
Exactly.
And so not before you know it, now you got, because I've always had multiple hustles.
Come on.
So some people paid me $300 a month, but $300 a month was everything.
Come on.
Because it covered that
covered
one
the bill.
thing. Yeah, you know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? I think too many times we go into situations saying, I need $100,000. It's like, not really. You don't actually need 100. What you need is cover your basic shit and then build from there.
I'm with you.
If you got a $500 car note, charge somebody $600.
Yeah.
500, $600, you know what I'm saying? Just Cover that bill.
Exactly.
If you got somebody that can pay you $500 every month, you know that. And for me, it was always my phone because I couldn't not have a phone.
That's right.
Like that's how me and him was just talking about it earlier. Like a phone is your lifeline.
That's right.
Like if you're like I used to be like, yo, I can live without lights. I can open the shades and get some sunlight in the night.
Yeah.
Put a candle on. Georgia Power can wait.
Come on.
T-Mobile can't.
I feel you.
Verizon can't. You know what I'm saying? Like that phone got to stay on because that's where the money's gonna come from.
Exactly.
So I always tell people like cover that bill first and then work from there, man. And before you know it, you'll realize like you kind of only need, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A little bit to get by until you can just build from there. And I think that'll help you set your expectations and it keeps things more realistic, and then you can just win.
How can folks contact you if they need some consultation? Shit.
Oh man, you know what? Hit me on hit me on socials.
You feel me? I done added some more shit to his plate.
Yeah. Like look. If you want to give me if you want to give me a 64th job, hit me up at Nick Love ATL, man. NICKLOVE ATL. That's my real name.
Yes, sir.
So hit me up, and I'm around, man. I'm here to give advice and give game. I was actually talking about doing some kind of consulting thing, but you got to like take me out to eat or something. You know what I'm saying? We have to do like a little thing I was thinking about putting together where it's like, I might do some group consulting.
Yeah.
Have everybody meet me at like breakfast at Barney's.
I feel
you know what I'm saying, once a month.
That's hard.
And that's how we gon'.
That's hard.
You can ask me all the questions until I finish eating.
Come on.
So you got 45 minutes to get it all in, bro. And then I take that last bite of eggs.
I'm out.
You know what I'm saying? But I do want to help people. I do want to be a resource to folks, man. I'm never too anything, too busy, too big, too whatever to assist. But yeah, man, feed me. And I'm in here.
I feel you. Nick, appreciate you coming through this thing, boss.
As always,
Wish
man.
you nothing but
Thank you.
the best and much success.
Same to you, sir.
Beehive Radio, shout it. Nick Love, holla at y'all in a minute, man. We gone.